Hello everybody and welcome to part 10 of what if Izuku Midoriya had Nightcrawler's powers. If you've missed any of the previous parts, there'll be a link in the description below. As always, if you enjoy this series and want to see it continue, please hit that like button. Before we start, I want to thank Butke Sullivan for his help making this episode possible. There may be some of his content in the description below. In the previous episode, we saw the students go through their final semester exams. Some failed, some passed. Mina and Midoriya start cheering as Mina says, "Yeah, camp's gonna be awesome!" Zero says, "Maybe you should stop doing that, Midoriya. After all, it's like taunting those who didn't pass." Midoriya immediately says, "I'm sorry, I didn't realize." Todoroki looks at his right side and says, "It's fine." Mina says, "Besides, there'll probably be a last-minute twist or something. They might be able to let all of us go." Midoriya says, "You're probably right." Zero says, "Stop that. By saying that out loud, you're just jinxing them." Bakugo says, "It's fine, just shut up about it!" After a bit more class interaction, Aizawa enters the class. He says, "Once the bell rings, you should be in your seats." The class runs to their seats as Aizawa takes the stand. He continues, "Morning. Unfortunately, there are a few of you who did not pass their exams. So when it comes to the training camp in the woods, everyone is going." Kirishima asks, "We really get to go to camp?" Aizawa says, "Yeah. The good news is that no one bombed the written exam. 5 failed the practical badly. 2 teams and of course Zero failed as well." Zero says, "Crap, I knew it. Mineta made it to the gate, but I didn't do near enough to pass." Aizawa explains the situation, explaining that even though the students get to go, they still have to work harder than everyone else. After class, the students mention that they need to go buy some stuff, and class organizes a field trip to the mall the next day. The next day arrives and all the students go to the mall. While the students do that, Todoroki goes to the hospital to visit his mother for the first time in a very long time. The students that go to the mall in this version of events are Mina, Midoriya, Uraraka, Bakugo, Ida, Kirishima, Mineta, Tokoyami, Jiro, Yaoyorozu, Kaminari, Shoji, and Hagakure. Everyone starts talking about what they want to buy. Kirishima says, so then why don't we split up and look around? We can meet here when we're done." Ashido says, "Great idea." Kirishima says, "Let's say we meet here around 3. The whole class says, "Sounds good." The class all go their separate ways, and Uraraka, Bakugo, and Midoriya are left. Midoriya says, "Looks like it's just us." Bakugo says, "Yeah, see you later, losers." Midoriya says, "Wait, Kachan, where are you going?" And Bakugo says, "To get some lifting equipment, Elf. I'll see you later." Midoriya says, "Looks like it's just you and me left." Uraraka says, "Yeah." And Midoriya asks, "So what are you going to shop for today?" "I want to buy some more custom socks that fit my special feet." Uraraka says, "I mostly just need bug spray." Uraraka remembers the conversation she had with Mina and rushes away, saying, "Yep, gotta keep those bugs away." And Midoriya asks, "You mean me?" A man walks up behind Midoriya, wanting to touch him, but before being able to, Midoriya just teleports away, seeing a store that might have the socks he wants. Shigaraki then keeps wandering the mall, thinking about his problems, finding Bakugo on the way, and having a small conversation with him, until Midoriya spots him while shopping and teleports to Bakugo. Shigaraki lets Bakugo go and disappears into the background. The police are called and the mall is closed down to look for clues. A couple of days later, at UA, Aizawa says, "Now that you are finished your first semester at UA, it's time for summer vacation to officially begin. However, don't think these will be months of rest for you heroes in the making. At this camp will put you to go beyond your limits. You're aiming to be plus ultra." The whole class says, "Yes, sir," to Aizawa. Uraraka goes to Midoriya and says, "I'm so psyched. I've been looking forward to this camp all semester, Deku." Midoriya gets a bit flustered, covering his face as he says, "Yeah, it's definitely close, huh?" Uraraka asks, Hey, what's the matter? And Midoriya says, I'm just a little hot. Uraka thinks back to the interaction between her and Mina in the exam, and she herself gets flustered and runs back, saying, "Let's hear it for camp!" And the class starts cheering. Mina, that's standing next to Midoriya, says, looks at Uraka and says, "You really need to admit to yourself and to him what's going on, Ochako." Midoriya asks, "Did you say something?" Monoma then comes up, saying, "I heard some of Class A are taking extra courses. Does that mean you failed? How embarrassing! Especially since you're supposed to be so much better than my class. All of you must be wallowing in shame. I mean, how could the Blue Devil pass and not the rest of you?" And he is hit over the head by none other than Kendo, who says, "Don't mind him." The two classes greet each other, and then they go to their respective buses, boarding them. While everyone in the bus, everyone goofs off until an hour after they start driving, the bus arrives at the destination. The students take the opportunity to stretch a bit, thinking it's a pit stop and that they'll resume in a bit. Mineta starts looking for a bathroom when the wild pussycats appear and present themselves. Aizawa says, "These are the pro heroes you will be training with on the training camp." And Midoriya starts freaking out about who they are, teleporting around while exclaiming who they are, what they do. Manele says, "We own this whole stretch of land, everything you can see." She points at a specific spot in the mountains and says, "The place you'll be staying at is right there, at the base of the mountain." The class says, "That's far." Uraka asks, "Then why do we stop all the way out here instead?" Tsuyu says, "I'm afraid we both know the answer to that." And Sato says, "That can't be right." As Zero says, "Back to the bus, quickly." Manele looks at the clock and says, "The current time is 9:30 in the morning. If you're fast about it, you might make it there by noon." The students try to run away as Manele says, "Those kittens who don't get there by 12:30 won't get any lunch." And they are thrown into the forest. By Pixie Bob's quirk. While they are falling, Manele says, "Good news! Since this is private land, you can use your quirks as much as you want to. You got 3 full hours. You should be able to make it to the facility at that time. That is, if you can get through the Beast's forest." Midoriya runs into a forest trying to find a place to pee, but is attacked by a giant mud monster before he can. Koda tries to stop the monster with his quirk, but it doesn't work. Midoriya teleports, grabs Koda, and teleports out of the way. The class starts heading towards the camp together. Now Midoriya could go on his own and reach it in no time, but he'd rather help his friends. After a couple of hours, the students arrive at the campsite. Once they arrive, Pixie Bob says, "Meow meow meow. I thought it would take you kids a lot longer, but you did much better against my dirt monsters than I thought you would. You guys were seriously great. Especially you 3. She points at Todoroki, Bakugo, and Midoriya. Midoriya notices a boy and introduces himself. Koda punches him in the groin and leaves. Ida rushes onto Midoriya's side, catching him before he hits the ground. Manele then quickly explains who Koda is. After the interaction, the students grab their stuff and get settled in, and afterwards they go to dinner. Midoriya says, "So good," as he starts eating. And they start eating. As they do, Midoriya spots a plate of Karagi chicken next to Bakugo. Bakugo and Kirishima are currently talking, so Midoriya teleports next to them, appearing under the lamp and hanging onto the lamp that's dangling from the ceiling with his feet and tail clinging onto it. Midoriya reaches to grab the chicken. Bakugo slaps Midoriya's hand away with a small explosion. Bakugo says, "Elf, how many times do I have to tell you? Ask and I'll get passed to you." Midoriya shrugs upside down and says, "Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt." He teleports to his seat and Bakugo passes the chicken. Bakugo says, "That's better now. Mind your manners, Elf." Later in the hot springs, everyone is enjoying a nice and relaxing bath, when Mineta starts looking at the wall and says, "Walls like this were meant to be climbed." Mineta then starts climbing the wall. Midoriya teleports in front of Mineta, sitting crisscross on the wall. Mineta stops and loses his grip, falling down. Midoriya hears a sound and looks up. He sees Kota looking down on them, and he turns to leave. Well, Kota turns to leave. Midoriya wonders what the deal with Kota is. After they finish bathing, Midoriya leaves to go ask Mandalite about Kota, finding out about his past and what happened to his parents. The next day quickly arrives. In this version of events, Midoriya spends his time training his teleporting reach and the amount of teleporting he can do without passing out. Pixie Bob takes advantage of this and sends Midoriya to the nearest town to get some supplies and gets him to do random chores for her. After the first day of training, the students have to cook by themselves. After making some curry, Midoriya follows Kota to his secret hideout, giving him some curry and talking to him a bit, although it doesn't convince him much about the heroes in the society. The next day, the training camp continues, pretty much the same as in the regular version of events. Midoriya keeps training and also starts training with Tiger to strengthen his muscles. The day quickly passes and at night, the League of Villains attacks as the students do their test of courage. I'm just gonna skim through this a bit. In this version of events, once the attack starts, Midoriya teleports to Kota's secret hideout, grabbing him and taking him to safety. He then returns to the camp, searching for others to help get them back to camp. But while he searches for people, he is found by Mr. Compress, who traps him with his quirk. The League's attack starts winding down, and they retreat, having captured both Midoriya and Tokoyami, and damaged many other students. Their main objective in this version was Midoriya because he's kind of like a blue devil. They think he doesn't fit in, kind of like what Spinner feels. I hope you all enjoyed this episode. If you did, you know what to do. If you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comments below. And until next time, have a nice day, everyone.